Eddie, but you can call me E-Dub.
We're never gonna be able to go back and give you guys that feeling that that you had, because we were all moving together in a certain point in time.
Michigan has no jurisdiction. Before we proceed, we need to establish jurisdiction.
He was once America's good son, the boy every family adored. Millions grew up laughing with Eddie Winslow in the legendary sitcom Family Matters. But today he's been arrested at the US-Mexico border. This is the tragedy of former star Darius McCrary, not for drugs, not for murder, but for a crime that left Hollywood in stunned silence, failing to pay child support for his own child and fleeing from court. In just one night, Eddie Winslow, the symbol of America's childhood, became an international fugitive. The world called it the fall of an icon, what turned Eddie Winslow into a criminal love money or Hollywood itself. This video will reveal all the secrets and the darkest chapter in the life of the man America once loved. From an early age, Darius McCrary seemed destined to be a star. He was born on May 1, 1976, in Walnut, California, a quiet town on the edge of Los Angeles. His father, Howard McCrary, was a singer and songwriter in the legendary gospel group, the McCrarys, who collaborated with icons like Michael Jackson, Chaka Khan, and Stevie Wonder. For Darius, music wasn't just a passion. It was the air he breathed from the moment he was born. "In my family, everybody sings. If you don't sing, at least you have to keep the rhythm," he once said in an interview. Even as a little boy, Darius carried a strange kind of confidence in front of the camera. At 8 years old, he began attending his first auditions, where casting directors were instantly drawn to his big eyes and genuine smile. In 1987, at just 11, he landed his first movie role in Big Shots, a story about friendship between two boys from very different worlds. His performance as Scam, a sharp, witty, and energetic kid, captured audiences' hearts and announced to Hollywood that a new child star had arrived. A year later, he appeared in Mississippi Burning 1988, Alan Parker's Oscar-winning film. Darius played Aaron Williams, a young black boy growing up in the racially charged South. Though it was only a small role, his frightened and confused expression left a lasting impression on audiences. Then came the turning point in 1989. ABC was producing a new sitcom called Family Matters, about a middle-class black family in Chicago. The moment Darius walked into the audition room, the director only needed 10 seconds to know he was Eddie Winslow. Eddie Winslow, the family's oldest son, was funny, mischievous, but kind-hearted and always loyal to his family. From the very first season, 13-year-old Darius was earning between $10,000 and $15,000 per episode, an astonishing salary for a child actor at that time. As Family Matters became a national phenomenon, his pay doubled to $20,000, $25,000 per episode, nearly $500,000 per season. From 1989 to 1998, every Friday night, millions of American families turned on their TVs and watched young Darius McCrary grow up before their eyes. He was the laughter, the heart of Family Matters. He became a role model for an entire generation of black teenagers, confident, funny, full of dreams. Audiences loved him, parents trusted him, and Hollywood crowned him the good son of America. But behind the laughter and cheerful lines, Darius's childhood was slowly being devoured by the machine of the industry. At just 14, he was filming 10 hours a day, forced to grow up on camera to smile even when he wanted to cry. Years later, he admitted in an interview, "When you grow up in Hollywood, you don't really grow up. You just learn to survive." Hollywood was never gentle to a child, and somewhere along the way, his youth quietly shattered. After 9 years, Family Matters ended in the summer of 1998. For millions of Americans, it was just the finale of a sitcom. But for Darius McCrary, it was the day his childhood officially ended. He had just turned 22. Half his life had been lived under studio lights. He was no longer the cheerful Eddie Winslow everyone remembered, just a young man standing in Hollywood, lost, confused, and unsure where he truly belonged. After Family Matters. When the spotlight faded, after Family Matters ended, Darius threw himself into work. He took on TV shows, movies, anything that could keep his name on a casting board. From Freedom 2000 and 15 Minutes 2001 to Something to Sing About 2000, he tried every genre imaginable: action, drama, comedy. But no matter what he did, people still saw Eddie Winslow in every role. The audience loved Eddie, but Eddie had become the chain that held Darius back. In Hollywood, they call it typecasting. When one role becomes too iconic, it swallows your entire career. Every producer remembered that Winslow kid, But no one wanted to take a risk on a different Darius, older, rougher, more complex. He began to fade out of sync. From America's favorite TV son, Darius turned into just another face on screen, a cameo here, a supporting role there. When Hollywood turned its back, Darius returned to what flowed in his veins: music. Like his father, he couldn't live without it. In 2005, he released his debut solo album, The Dissertation, a soundtrack of life. It wasn't a commercial record, it was a confession. The album didn't sell well, but it was a cry for help, the first sign that something inside him was breaking. During the mid-2000s, Darius tried to rebuild his acting career. He appeared in small films like Something to Sing About 2000, Kingdom Come 2001, and The Breaks 1999. Then in 2007, a surprising opportunity came. He was cast as the voice of the Autobot Jazz in Michael Bay's blockbuster Transformers. For the first time in years, his name appeared in a global hit. That voice role gave Darius a brief sense of recognition, a reminder that Hollywood hadn't completely forgotten him. But the light faded quickly. Transformers was packed with stars, and Jazz's voice was lost in the metallic chaos of explosions. After that blockbuster, Darius disappeared again. The Young and the Restless. The last experiment, in 2009, Darius joined the long-running soap opera, The Young and the Restless, one of America's oldest TV series. He stepped into the role of Malcolm Winters, previously played by fan favorite Shamar Moore. It was his chance to be reborn on television, to remind Hollywood that he was still here. But the pressure was crushing. Audiences didn't want a new Malcolm. They wanted Shamar Moore, the face they had loved for years. The comparison was inevitable, and it weighed heavily on him. Darius did his best, staying on the show for 2 years, 2009, 2011, but ratings never took off. The landscape of American television had changed. The new generation of viewers didn't recognize him. The old one just wanted to hold on to the Eddie Winslow of their childhood. The TV lights dimmed once more, and he was pushed back to the margins. A report from Wonderwall revealed that one of his most recent roles paid only $875 for 7 days of filming, with paychecks getting smaller and smaller. He still appeared in small films and talk shows, occasionally reminiscing about the good old days. But behind his smile was a quiet sadness, the kind that lives in someone who once had everything and lost it all without understanding why. In a 2010 interview, Darius revealed his deepest fear. Fame is a drug. You don't know you're addicted until it's gone. By 2010, the cracks were showing. His finances were running low, relationships were falling apart, and his name started appearing in entertainment headlines again, not for roles, but for trouble. A new chapter was beginning. Only this time, there would be no spotlight. The first cracks: love violence and the free fall. After nearly 2 decades of losing himself in Hollywood, Darius thought he'd finally found hope in love. In 2014, he married Tammy Bronner, a woman just as well known as he was a former star of the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters basketball team. The two met during a TV show and quickly bonded. A year later, they welcomed their daughter Zoe, the pride and joy that finally made Darius feel whole again. Their first family photos flooded social media. Under one picture of him holding his baby girl, Darius wrote, "Finally a family." For a brief moment, he looked truly at peace. But in 2017, Tammy filed for divorce, accusing Darius of domestic violence and child endangerment. In court documents filed in Los Angeles, she described an incident that shocked the public. She claimed Darius had injured their daughter with hot water, saying he yelled that he would teach her to feel the heat of disobedience. The accusation sent shockwaves through the media. People.com and Court TV both covered it, calling it one of the most heartbreaking lawsuits involving a sitcom star. Darius denied everything, insisting it was just an accident while holding his child. But the court wasn't convinced. A judge ordered him to complete domestic violence intervention and alcohol and substance counseling if he wanted visitation rights. Custody was granted to Tammy, while Darius was only allowed supervised visits with Zoe. Their marriage officially ended in 2019, sealed by cold court papers marking the close of one love story and the beginning of years of chaos, financial collapse, and the shocking arrests. After the divorce, Darius fell into a deep financial crisis. The movie offers stopped coming, TV appearances dried up, and his income dropped drastically. According to Michigan State records, as of March 31, 2024, McCrary owed more than $95,000 in unpaid child support. This wasn't the first time he had been in trouble over the same issue. In 2015, he was arrested in California for failing to meet his child support obligations and released after posting bail. In 2023, history repeated itself when Michigan police arrested him again for the same offense. Headlines screamed from TV dad to deadbeat dad. Court TV 2023. A man who once earned hundreds of thousands of dollars per season was now wanted for the crime of neglecting his own child. After the painful end of his marriage to Tammy Bronner, Darius said in an interview, "I still believe in love. I just chose the wrong person, or they chose the wrong me." But destiny never granted him a gentle escape. A new love and another legal storm. In 2022, Darius McCrary's name returned to entertainment headlines, this time for his relationship with Tanya Hijazi, the ex-wife of funk legend Rick James. Tanya was a familiar name in the 90s art scene, sensual, rebellious, and haunted by a turbulent past. When she met Darius, she was in her 50s, but still radiated an unusual magnetism, the kind born of a life surrounded by music parties and ghosts of fame. They met at a backstage party in Los Angeles. Friends said Darius was drawn to her dangerous charm. Soon they became a minor social media sensation, often appearing together at small events. Darius affectionately called her "my muse, the last woman who inspires me." But within months, that love turned into another courtroom battle. In early 2023, McCrary filed a 4-year restraining order against Tanya Hijazi at the Los Angeles County Superior Court, accusing her of threats, property damage, and turning his home into an illegal hangout. Darius claimed he was living in fear and felt surrounded by someone else's dark past. The court granted the order, requiring Tanya to stay at least 100 yards away and forbidding any form of contact. The story shocked the public not just because of the drama, but because of the pattern. Every one of Darius's relationships seemed to end the same way: police and a judge's order. Major outlets like Radar Online and Page 6 ran headlines like, "From sitcom star to courtroom regular, Darius McCrary can't escape the drama." Darius McCrary was no longer the sitcom sweetheart he once was. He had become a tragic symbol of Hollywood itself, a man who every time he fell in love sank deeper into chaos. "Every time I fall in love, I lose a piece of myself." By 2025, all attempts to rebuild his reputation had crumbled. The man who once made America laugh now appeared on morning news shows, not on the red carpet, but in handcuffs. The border tragedy, Darius McCrary's final fall. Early morning, October 5, 2025, at San Isidro, the busiest U.S.-Mexico border crossing. Border Patrol officers stopped a suspicious black SUV. Behind the wheel was 49-year-old Darius McCrary, the former Family Matters star. Within minutes, he was handcuffed. According to court records and reports from Court TV and Vibe magazine, McCrary was wanted under a fugitive warrant from Michigan, where he owed more than $95,000 in unpaid child support as of March 31, 2024. He didn't resist arrest. One witness said he just sat there, head down, silent, like someone who had stopped hoping. A border officer told people he looked tired, not angry, not scared, just tired. The SUV was impounded, and McCrary was taken to the San Diego Metropolitan Correctional Center, awaiting extradition to Michigan. The news exploded like a bomb across Hollywood. Headlines flooded in Eddie Winslow, arrested at U.S.-Mexico border. From sitcom fame to fugitive, the fall of Darius McCrary. The man who once brought joy to millions now stood before cameras with empty eyes and cuffed wrists, a heartbreaking image for a generation that grew up loving him. At his first hearing on October 15th, McCrary appeared without a private attorney. When the judge asked special appearance for whom, he quietly replied, "For Darius McCrary, I'm here." The court appointed a public defender to represent him. The prosecutor stated Mr. McCrary has repeatedly failed to comply with court-ordered child support, ignored multiple summons, and attempted to flee the jurisdiction. His lawyer countered, he wasn't fleeing. He was volunteering in Mexico, helping underprivileged families. Prosecutors denied that claim, saying McCrary was actually negotiating a property deal in Tijuana to avoid financial responsibility. They accused him of intentionally crossing the border to evade court orders. The judge rejected the defense and denied bail, declaring him a flight risk. McCrary was ordered held without bail pending extradition to Michigan within 30 days. According to the Michigan indictment, he faces 4 felony counts related to failure to pay child support charges that could lead to up to 4 years in prison if convicted. It's the 3rd time he has faced such charges following arrests in 2015 and 2023. Total debt as of March 31st, 2024, $95,523. For a man who once starred in over 200 episodes of Family Matters, that number isn't just a debt. It's a verdict, a symbol of total collapse, fading contracts, lost fame, and unstable income. Media experts called it a silent crime, one Hollywood prefers not to talk about. The on-screen model father had become an absent father in real life. His ex-wife, Tammy Bronner, said simply, "I hope he finally takes responsibility not for me, but for Zoe." 10-year-old Zoe, living in Los Angeles with her mother, still calls him Daddy Eddie, the image she remembers from TV. From beloved father figure on screen to absent father off screen, McCrary is now shackled not only by the law, but by the memories he once gave millions. Now inside a cold Michigan jail cell, Darius McCrary has no films, no contracts, no Friday night laughter. Yet for many who grew up watching Family Matters, he remains a symbol not of success, but of the price of fame. He made us laugh. Now he makes us remember that fame without peace is a prison. For those who once worked with him, the news hit like a silent blow. Jo Marie Payton, who played his on-screen mother, told Entertainment Tonight, "Darius is like family to me. It hurts, but we all have to face our choices." Actor Jaleel White Steve Urkel simply wrote on Instagram, "We grew up together on camera. I just pray he finds peace." The rest of Hollywood stayed quiet because everyone knows that fame can't save you from your real life. A star who once lit up America's living rooms now sits in silence behind bars. The eyes that once adored him have turned away. And one question remains, can a man ever come back from the darkness of his own making, or is he just the fading light of a star that's already fallen? Darius McCrary is no longer alone in his downfall. He's just another name in the long list of child stars crushed by reality, from sitcom glory to federal court files. Beyond the legal troubles, his public outbursts and reckless comments on social media have only driven more nails into the image of a man once beloved by millions. Love scandal with Sydney Star. In 2021, social media exploded when a behind-the-scenes clip surfaced, showing McCrary getting cozy with Sydney Star, a model reality TV personality and a well-known figure in the LGBTQ+ community. In the video, the two laughed, hugged, and shared glances that made fans wonder, has Eddie Winslow found someone new? The rumors spread like wildfire. Tabloids called it the most shocking romance to ever come out of 90s sitcom culture. McCrary quickly responded on Instagram, writing, "Stop running with these rumors." He denied any romantic relationship, saying they were simply friends working on an art project together. But the internet never forgets. 3 years later, in 2024, Sydney Star made headlines again during a live interview when she claimed that Darius had financially supported her gender confirmation surgery. The statement reignited controversy. Some praised McCrary for his compassion and openness, calling him a man brave enough to stand by his friends in the LGBTQ+ community. Others dismissed it as manufactured drama, accusing Sydney of using his name for attention. McCrary remained silent, no denial, no confirmation. In Hollywood, silence often means mystery, and mystery, as always, attracts more curiosity than truth. By the end of 2024, a popular YouTube podcast released a 1-hour video featuring McCrary and Sydney sitting side by side discussing a relationship that overcame prejudice and misunderstanding. They laughed and talked about art and friendship, but when the host asked, "So were you ever in love?" both paused for several seconds, then smiled. Controversial remarks about Hollywood's dark side. Back in 2017, during an interview, McCrary shocked audiences by revealing that as a child actor, he had once been inappropriately touched by a Hollywood executive. He refused to name the person, saying quietly, "I don't want to call anyone out. I'm not seeking attention. I'm just telling the truth." At first, many praised him for his courage, seeing him as someone brave enough to confront a painful childhood memory. But only months later, he caused another uproar. In a different talk, McCrary said, "A lot of people in this industry just want attention. Not everyone who says they're a victim is really a victim." That single comment flipped the public's perception overnight. The same media that once sympathized now condemned him, calling it a dangerous slip of the tongue. What had seemed like honesty now felt like dismissal of others' trauma. Many in the industry who once admired him said they understood what he meant, but couldn't forgive how he said it. From then on, McCrary's image entered a gray zone, not hateful enough to be despised, but no longer bright enough to be loved. What's left? when fame is no longer insurance. There was a time when Darius McCrary was the golden face of American television. As Eddie Winslow in Family Matters, he made millions laugh. Advertisers lined up magazines called him America's good son. But 3 decades later, that glow had faded into an echo. According to Celebrity Net Worth, by the end of 2024, McCrary's total assets had dwindled to around $10,000, a shocking figure for someone who once earned hundreds of thousands per season. Sites like Net Worth Planet estimated his net worth at nearly $100,000 just a few years earlier, but mounting debt and inconsistent income quickly erased it. This isn't speculation. In a 2017 court document, McCrary admitted he had earned only $500 over 12 months and was living with relatives because he couldn't afford rent. By 2024, Michigan state filings confirmed he owed 95.23 in unpaid child support debt that led to his dramatic arrest in October 2025. Gone were the luxury apartments, cars, and glittering Hollywood nights. What remained was a modest sum barely symbolic. No million-dollar home, no sports car, no investments. A report from Net Worth Planet once noted that McCrary sold nearly everything he owned to pay debts and survive. For a man once seen as the nation's golden boy, the fall wasn't just financial, it was spiritual. Hollywood once opened its doors to him, but it was the same Hollywood that shut them when he could no longer secure leading roles, land contracts, or maintain his image in the public eye. The state of Michigan still upholds 4 felony charges against him for failure to pay child support. If convicted, he could face up to 4 years in prison. But even if he escapes legal punishment, McCrary will still carry nearly $100,000 in debt and a reputation that continues to erode with each passing day. While his peers built businesses, invested, or turned to producing to stay afloat, McCrary had no consistent income stream. His acting career had gone quiet, his music brought little success, and his personal scandals made him what insiders call a hard sell in an industry where image is currency. From a brand perspective, McCrary lost the one thing that matters most: public trust. Endorsements vanished. Talk show invites stopped. The media mentioned him only in connection with arrests, rumors, or lawsuits. Once America's good son, he became Hollywood's lost one, a casualty of today's unforgiving cancel culture. An intangible asset, and it's fading too. If you ask what McCrary has left, the answer isn't in a bank account. What remains are memories of a time when his smile lit up America's living rooms. In a rare 2025 interview, when asked about his current situation, he quietly said, "Fame gave me everything. Then it took it all back." That line felt like a bitter summary of his entire life, from stardom to scandal, from bright studio lights to a cold jail cell. Darius McCrary's life has become a complete circle, a star left behind by time and his own choices. And while his tangible wealth has all but disappeared, the intangible, the cultural memory still lingers in those who grew up watching Family Matters. They still remember Eddie Winslow's smile, the cheerful boy in that little TV house, even as the man behind the character collapsed under the weight of his past. He made us laugh. Now he makes us remember that fame without peace is a prison. McCrary is currently still in custody, and even after his extradition, the case will proceed in Michigan, where he will stand trial. As he awaits the extradition process and court hearings, he remains behind bars, his career effectively frozen. At this point, no one expects a major role or a new contract to come his way. Public and media attention is intense. What began as a private legal issue has now become something larger, a story about fame, responsibility, and the harsh consequences that follow when a celebrity fails to meet his duty as a father. He was once America's good son. Now he's the man in handcuffs at the border. What do you think of his fall? Leave your thoughts below.
All data, analysis, and commentary in this video are presented based on information available at the time of production. The content is subject to change over time and should not be considered a definitive forecast. There is still so much more to explore: stories of resilience, legacy, and truth. Feel free to dive into some of our top recommended videos now appearing on your screen.